In the United States, there were hundreds of organizations actively opposing the Vietnam War by 1968. Ideologies range from groups focused on peace to end war in Vietnam to groups with political roots. One group that arose during this time period was the Chicago 8, later known as the Chicago 7, who were made up of political radicals accused of conspiring to incite the riots that occurred during the Democratic National Convention in Chicago on August 21st to 26, 1968. A majority of the Chicago 7 were made up of activists and leaders from several groups and organizations that protested the Vietnam War. The original members of the Chicago 7 were David Dellinger, a pacifist and a chairman of the National Mobilization Against the War; Tom Hayden and Rennie Davis, leaders of the Students for a Democratic Society; Abby Hoffman and Jerry Rubin, leaders of the Youth International Party; John Froines and Lee Weiner, local Chicago organizers; and Bobby Seale, co-founder of the Black Panther Party. The Chicago 7 would cause many protests, concerts, sit-ins, and many other forms of rebellion, and they necessarily couldn't get in violation of the law. On August 28, 1968, the Chicago 7 had caused a riot in Chicago that involved the clubbing and beating of many people and releasing a large amount of tear gas into the multitudes of people at the Democratic Convention. The riot had resulted with 589 people being arrested and 219 people being injured. Despite many of their previous protests that were not found a violation of United States law, the Chicago 7 would be convicted to trial for starting the riot at the National Democratic Convention because it violated the Wrap-Brown Law. The Wrap-Brown Law, installed into the Civil Rights Bill, had made it illegal to cross state lines in order to riot or to conspire to use interstate commerce to incite rioting. Since the Chicago 7 members crossed state lines into Chicago, Illinois to influence a riot, they had violated the Wrap-Brown Law, causing themselves to be in violation of the law and able to be prosecuted. When the 8 members had been put on trial, Bobby Seale had angrily denounced the judge as a racist because the judge had denied Seale's request to a separate trial with his own preferred lawyer. Seale had then been gagged from the prosecution and put on separate trial before being sentenced to prison. The trial of the Chicago 7 had lasted about 5 months, and the remaining 7 members on prosecution were then acquitted of conspiracy and received various charges. 2 members were acquitted of all charges, and the other 5 are convicted of inciting a riot. All remaining 7 members of the Chicago 7 are sentenced to 5 years of jail and fined $5,000 each. In 1970, the convictions and contempt charges against the Chicago 7 were overturned on appeal due to the judicial bias and problems with jury selection, as well as the judge's procedural errors and his overt hostility to the defendants. The members of the Chicago 7 were then released from jail and have continued to live their life, where few of them still live today.